I hear the windmills creak and squeak as wheels turn toward the wind. Those mills pumped water for the stock on which our hopes were pinned. The sucker rods moved up and down while wheels spun round and round. They sucked the fossil water up for use above the ground. The windmills made life possible on flat and dry terrain. They kept the stock tanks well supplied despite infrequent rain. To us, those wooden windmills were the pyramids of the plains, more monumental than the ones built during Pharaoh's reigns. My family, too, faced winds head-on, the winds of chance and change, the winds that blew with blizzard force and howled across the range. And like the windmill derricks, we anchored to that place and turned as did the windmill wheels to face what we must face. As you can see by the pictures, the windmills at the ranch have aged, along with those of us who remember when all of the windmills we had were wooden. We used to have 21 of them, and now we're down to 10. One reason is the water table's dropping, and it's harder to get to the water, and another reason is that parts are difficult to find, and they're expensive when you do find them. And it's hard to find somebody who's willing to climb up this rickety old derrick and stand on this little 4-by-4-foot platform to replace the parts that need replacing. Don Rakoff was Dad's top hand. He worked for Dad for 15 years. And he, at his age, he is still replacing some of the parts on the old windmills. Don, earlier today we were talking about you climbing up the windmills and still working on them at age 77.
Yes.
Do you think that's safe?
Well, safe or not, I guess it has to be done, you know. These younger people don't like to climb them anymore.
Dad climbed the windmill platforms till he was 80. And today, for the first time, I saw people rounding up the cattle on their four-wheel ATVs.
Yeah, that's the modern way, I guess, you know.
That's progress.
Yeah, you'd have to say it's progress. The horses kind of went out of style.
And what did you say about progress?
Well, you can't stop it, but we impeded it for quite a while.
It wasn't just the windmills that aged over the years. So did the ranch equipment. Let me tell you about Dad's tractor. My father's Massey Ferguson went back to Adam's time. At any rate, it had been years since it had seen its prime. The neighbors always joked about the baling wire and gum that held the thing together and that really made it hum. We said, "Why don't you give it up? It's time to let it go. You can buy a new one, Dad. We know you've got the dough." He took off his old decob cap and scratched his balding head. He squinted in the noonday sun. "Well, I heard what you said. But if I bought a new one, then I'd have to fix that too. Which, when the thing broke down someday, I wouldn't know how to do." And so he went on driving the tractor he knew best. He used it for the smaller jobs and farmed out all the rest. For all I know, it might have been a valuable antique, except for all the different parts that made it too unique. And when he died, we hauled it to the ranch dump where it lies, half hidden by the sage and sand, behind a little rise. Now no one else can make it work. No one will even try, for times have changed, and as they did, they passed that tractor by. It is a monument of sorts to those who could make do. They used it up and wore it out instead of buying new.